So I've found something that I think is quite interesting. Previously, I've outlined why you should never use repeating or chain command blocks in large systems. So the way they operate, they run their commands regardless of any parameters you've set in. So if you're searching for entities, for instance, it's going to check every loaded entity before weeding out whatever selection parameters you've put in. So if you're looking for specifically zombies, it's going to return every loaded entity and then run off of the ones that are zombies. And because it's running in this manner, it's generating a lot of tick lag, because both repeating and chain command blocks, depending on how you've set them up, operate more than once per tick. And there's 20 ticks in a second, so that's a lot of functions. And then if you have, say, 100 loaded entities, well, that's a lot of commands being run in less than a second. And because of this, if you have a large array of command blocks that are operating in a sense that they're searching for such a large number of entities, it's going to cause a lot of tick lag. So what I have advocated is you make use of a redstone system where you're filling in redstone blocks and replacing them with an air, just using an impulse and repeating command block. This creates a single tick of redstone and therefore makes the command run in either a tick or how often you're pulsing this. And you can set up timers with the scoreboards to make it run off every tick or every second. Really, it's a lot cleaner of a system because you can control how often your command blocks run. But what I've found that I think is interesting is the manner in which this system triggers command blocks. So usually if you were to set up command blocks, and I am just going to type in, say, 1, 2, 3, and 4, so we can identify the command blocks. If I were to turn 1 on first, followed by 2, 3, and 4, you can see in the chat that the last 4 numbers are always 1, 2, 3, and 4. If I turn 3 off, 2 off, turn 3 back on, and then 2, we now see it's 1, 4, 3, 2. And the reason for this is they're currently running in the manner that you've set them up. So whatever command block you've turned on first is going to run the tick, or however often it is, for the other command blocks. Now, this isn't a huge issue because in a map or a large-scale project, you're generally going to build one command after the other, not in a sporadic fashion where you know this command but not the command it's running off previously. What I've found that's interesting is if we get rid of these and replace them with our normal command blocks or impulse command blocks, and we were to type in, for instance, say 1, we'll put the 2 down here for a change, 3, and 4. Now, could you tell me in which order they're going to appear in my chat? So previously it was however we set them up. So if you turn this one on first and then this one, it'll go 1, 4, and then whatever you set up. But we're now using the fill command to generate redstone in this little sandstone column and get rid of it because it's going to replace it anyway. So in that sense, which command is going to trigger first? Well, as you can see, it goes 1, 3, 2, and 4. And I can go ahead and show you that that's the correct order. I can change these around and it's still going to run in the exact same order, this time 1, 2, 3, and 4. What this means is the fill command does not fill in blocks as a single chunk within a tick, rather it builds them in a set order. So it's filling in the column and it's building along the x-axis first in the positive direction. So that's the 1 and the 2. Then it goes down a z and fills in the x-axis again. So that's why it's always operating this command block, then this one, then the bottom 2. This is especially important because if you are going to use this type of system and you have command blocks that aren't necessarily conditional of one another, but still need to run in a set order, well, you have to be more aware of the X and Y positive axis because you need to be building along set axes for the actual command blocks to trigger in the correct order. And it's the same case if we tie in height. If we were to set up another 4 command blocks, the same thing, say 1, 2, 3, and of course 4. Again, could you tell me in what order they're going to trigger? So we know it targets the x-axis before the z-axis. So is it going to go this? So 1, 2, 3, and then 4? Well, no. It's still going to fill in the bottom or the base first, and then it's going up a level. So what that means is the priority of the fill command, which is the interesting thing, is always going to be the x-axis first, then the z back to the x-axis, then the y back to the x-axis. So the x-axis is always the priority, meaning if you were to build command block functions in a giant chain, I would highly recommend you build them along the x-axis and try to avoid adding in height or the z-axis, unless you can mentally remember that you need to build in the x-axis direction first, positive, then the z, and then any height. This is also easy to demonstrate if we go one command block here. We can put one here as well, and it should be fine. So these are very sporadically placed, but we know that's going to fill here, and then here, and then here. So we should be able to correctly guess in which order these will trigger. This should trigger first, followed by this command block, then this one, and then this one. Let's see if I'm correct. Yep. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And if we expanded the area, it would still be the same functionality. It's always going to fill the x-axis first, then the z, and then the height, or the y-axis. So it's something quite interesting, and is very important in any large builds if you are going to stop using repeating and chain command blocks. Anyway, that's all for now. Hope you found it interesting, and see ya.